the stomach for it. I've got a story for you. The world you know is gone, consumed by the flames of a great war long ago. All that's left now are the Lost Lands.
I'm looking for a guide. Someone who knows the Lost Lands.
Welcome back to the channel, guys, and today we are going to be going over that movie, In the Lost Lands, directed by the same director who did the Resident Evil movies, and also it's a short story that was done by George R.R. Martin. Now, before we get into the video, I just want to address the elephant in the room. Yes, I got some new glasses, and yes, they are prescription. I mean, they look so nice. They make me look nice. I think it's pretty good. All right, without further ado, let's get into the video. As always, guys, you guys know that my videos are spoiler free, but that is also a reminder for all you newcomers, and welcome to the channel. Basically, we're going to be going into this movie. Now, I didn't really have high expectations, just simply because crazy big fantasy movies are a little tricky to do, and this one seemed like it was leaning heavy on the CGI, and so I just went in just to, you know, have a good time at the movie theaters. Now, the story follows Dave Bautista's character Boyce, who is basically like a bounty hunter, and then you had Milla Jovovich's character Alice Grace. She's basically a witch throughout what's understood throughout the story. Now, the whole premise of the story is that there is basically a queen that goes to Milla's character, and she basically requires her to do a task. Now, Milla, basically, she can't refuse the task, so she agrees to do it, and in doing so, she has to go out into the wasteland that they call the Lost Lands to find this power for this queen. And in order to do it, she has to actually solicit the help of a hunter, which is Dave Bautista's character. Now, as the story kind of goes on, it's basically like your big quest type of story, and you know, they have a point that they have to get to, and then they just kind of go through different points in the map to get to their destination. Now, one of the things that I did enjoy about this movie was basically some of the action sequences. Now, although they were good, a lot of it kind of like relied heavily on some CGI aspects, but it was a fun time. I mean, it wasn't nothing that I haven't seen before. It wasn't nothing groundbreaking and like that I had to like go crazy over, but there were some entertaining moments on it. Now, although I am not familiar with the short story itself that was created by George R. Martin, so I don't have any source material to compare it to, this story, this whole movie was basically kind of like a post-apocalyptic survival story mixed with Western outlaw energy, and then you add some magic and some Mad Max scenery and symmetry with it, and that's basically this mashup of a movie. And although it gives it a kind of unique twist to, you know, the fantasy, which, I mean, George R. Martin, we all know some of his other works, so I mean, I'm sure it does work, because I mean, he is great at creating grand worlds and universes and magic systems. But in the aspect for this movie, it is a lot, just a lot of different things kind of tossed in together, and you just get this big old pot of this movie, to say the least. Now, going to the parts that were kind of for me, and things that I didn't really care for the movie, definitely the heavy use of the CGI. Now, I understand that this is more of a sci-fi driven story, you know, magic, futuristic, like, you know, the world's gone to shit from nuclear war, so, you know, obviously you can't always recreate that in a setting, but so, like I said, some of the fights were a little too CGI that kind of took me away from it. And, you know, like I said, there were moments where I'm like, oh, that was actually kind of cool and everything. There were a lot more moments where I'm like, okay, like, you know, I wasn't like, oh my god, like that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And also the plot of the story itself. Now, again, I don't know how the book is for this, but as the plot was going on and everything like that, I kind of saw like the direction they were going in and kind of like already guessed like how it was going. The cool thing I will admit is that the way the plot ends is how basically kind of everything comes full circle. So I will give them that actually was a pretty cool aspect of how the events of the journey itself kind of like played out into the favor of, you know, these two characters that, you know, we are introduced in the story. So I will give the movie that, like, that was something really entertaining in regards to it, but everything else just seemed like stuff I've seen before, and that could probably be due to the fact that, you know, it is the same director who did all the Resident Evil movies, and a lot of his stuff is repetitive, so you kind of see it. And so yeah, so I think that's kind of like where the movie lacked, definitely, for me. Now, with all that being said, I would probably rate this movie a 2.5, maybe 3 out of 5 stars, honestly. This is definitely a movie that would be a good time to just kind of watch on Netflix or like at home streaming. Like, you don't necessarily need to go for the whole movie theater experience to get the whole feel for it. So there's that. I mean, unless you go on like a $5 Tuesday day, then by all means, yeah, spend $5 to go watch it. I mean, it's cheap, it's whatever, cool, like that. But I don't feel like it's definitely one of those like you have to be there on the premiere date to watch the movie. Not terrible, not completely horrible, and not the greatest thing ever. So I'm kind of like in the middle for it. Would I watch it again? Like, again, I'll probably watch it like if it was on my TV, you know, watching it at home. Like, definitely not going out to the movie theaters again to go see it. But here I am bringing all the information to you. If you got a chance to watch the movie, what did you guys think about it? And what were some of the things that you did enjoy, and, you know, some of the things that you didn't? Now, I'm seeing a lot of different reviews on it saying that it wasn't a great movie, and it's even being kind of review bombed with Rotten Tomatoes. So, I mean, you win some, you lose some. I mean, I'm a fan of Dave Bautista. I also am a fan of Milla. They both, you know, do great work in other projects. So, you know, they might come out with something better next time. Well, as always, that is all I have for you today. I appreciate you guys taking the time, and I'll see you on the next one.